I go far outside of the art world and even the business world to garner examples of what discipline and creativity looks like. And one of the best examples is the elite armed forces. If you go and hang with a Navy SEAL or spend some time watching the elite armed forces train, you realize there's a totally different level of discipline to mental toughness, to mastery of either physical discipline or a skill than normal people, than people like me have been accustomed to. And so that would be a very good example of what I would look to create discipline and structure in my own life. And if given two choices, the elite armed forces, the Navy SEAL, will always choose the more difficult option of the two, not because it's the best outcome, but because they're training their mind to fight resistance. They're training themselves to choose the harder route. So it's contrary to what oftentimes we as human nature do. We oftentimes default to the easiest road. We default to what would take the least time or require the least amount of effort. If you follow the elite armed forces, they intentionally choose the more difficult route to find outcomes. And that to me was a very healthy way by which to be able to look at idea generation for me, is what is the more difficult route, hammer that out, and then go back and try the easier route later. But always make the difficult choice first. One of the other things, particularly about the elite armed forces, is their ability, and this is again mental toughness. It's certainly they have physical toughness, but it goes back to a mental toughness of their ability to remain unflinchingly calm in the face of the most harrowing situations that most of us would freak out or go into great trauma. They've trained themselves to be relaxed, to breathe through it, and then to solve the challenge at hand from a cool state of mind. So now as the economy disrupts, as everything becomes unsettled, as we feel anxious, we're watching people freak out. And that's a normal reaction. We would expect that. If the game table flips and everything is upside down, our default reaction is to freak out. However, if we can adopt that mentality of being mentally tough, being disciplined, we breathe through that initial anxiety, through that initial turmoil, and then we assess the situation and look for opportunities now to be able to go on the offensive and to proactively define our own next step as opposed to reacting to what's taking place around us. So that ability to remain unflinchingly calm, not because you're going to polar plunge into, minus 20 degree water, minus 33 degree water, or take on an enemy combatant in a hostile situation, but we need to remain calm amidst a lot of these disruptions that are taking place around us, by which to be able to think clearly and to problem solve and to even explore creativity. Creativity takes mind share by which to be able to access it. And if we're cluttered with anxiety, cluttered with confusion, cluttered with even competition, then we're not going to see opportunities that are existing in those soft, quiet spaces, those white spaces of creativity or additional sparks.